Hi there. Welcome to Grow Granny Rocks Our World. Today I'm going to be talking about why are we embarrassed when we're not wanted and how does that fear impact us? And I'm even going to be talking about what is embarrassment and what is so embarrassing about being embarrassed. But before I do that, I'd like to introduce you to Sweet Baby James, who is going to introduce our show. So take it away.
Well then. Well, welcome again to Granny Rocks Our World, where you'll be hearing Granny share her wit, her wisdom, and her uncommon sense every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 Pacific. So thanks for joining us, and now back to Granny.
Okay, so this thought, came to mind because I was saying to myself, I actually took a shower today. That took a lot. Hi, Helen. She says, hi, Beth and James, love you. Oh, we love you too, Helen.
Love you too.
And Bob said Bob and Carol are watching. Oh, that's so encouraging. And Erica said hi. Thank you so much. It's great to have the support. And Luann sent us all kinds of waves and butterfly. No, that's a dragonfly or something and a heart. Well, thank you. Thank you. So I feel better already. See, they're showing us that they want us. Right? Isn't that wonderful?
There goes your theme.
There goes my theme. Well, okay. So anyway, and Tracy said hi. Well, hi back, Tracy. So I feel wanted already. This is wonderful. All right. So anyway, so I asked myself, what do I really want to talk about tonight? And I thought, well, I want to talk about me. And I want to talk all about all the things, the retreat that I'm doing and the intuition training and growth. We're going to be starting growth very soon. You're going to get an announcement as soon as we have it set up so you can register. And then I thought, well, am I just going to talk about me? I mean, that's not helpful. And then one thing led to another, one thought led to another. And I realized that it's kind of embarrassing to put yourself out there with, all this advertising and everything, and nobody shows. You know what I'm saying? Like, you called the live stream and nobody came. So anyway, so then I started thinking about embarrassment. Well, one thing, as I said, led to another.
It's like giving a party and only one person shows up.
Exactly. You. Well, no, but you're right. One person is way better than none. And that really is the point. If one person shows up, then there is a witness to your humiliation. Whereas if nobody shows up, then nobody will ever know. In fact, you could go out the next day and say to all the kids, oh my God, it was just awesome. The whole city of Berlin came.
Everybody but you was there.
Everybody but you was there. So anyway, so then I started thinking, well, what is embarrassment, right? Well, embarrassment seems, in my mind, to have to do with public humiliation. So, for example, if you're walking along and you fall and it hurts, your first thought is, ouch, pain, or I feel so sorry for myself, right? But if you're walking along and you fall and somebody else sees you, it's like, oh my God, that was so embarrassing. All of a sudden, the pain of the embarrassment is almost or even more significant than the thing itself. Let's say you're caught cheating on your wife or your husband or your significant other, and you're so embarrassed that you've been caught. Of course, the fact that you've been cheating is not important. What's important is that you're embarrassed, that people know now that you're cheating. And I really want you to think about this for a minute. How many things have you had that experience with that it is when other people know something? Hi, Amy. That when some other people know something about you that you even already know about yourself, that's when that pain starts exploding, that pain of embarrassment, right? So then I had to ask myself, I'm going to get to the when we're not wanted part in a minute. But I had to ask myself, why are we so embarrassed? Well, part of the reason, and this is going to sound horrible, which is something that I say often on this show. And this is going to sound horrible, and then that's going to sound horrible, and then it does. But it's because people are jerks, and they will laugh at your pain. Won't they? People, Anthony Weiner is caught one more time in his sex addiction. Instead of having, those of you who remember who Anthony Weiner are, instead of feeling compassion for the guy and thinking, oh my God, what is his problem? He's ruining his whole life. It's like, Anthony Weiner showing his wiener. People ridicule you for your weaknesses. And that is a reality. How many of us had those experiences as children? Or if we didn't have them, how many of us saw other people going through it, right? Being embarrassed and publicly humiliated by other kids, particularly, and people laughing at you behind your back. So what does that do? Well, that just paralyzes us, right? Because we're so afraid that people are going to ridicule us. There's no compassion. It's kind of vile, to be perfectly frank, isn't it? I mean, don't you agree with what I'm saying? Anyway, so why are we embarrassed when we're not wanted? Well, what does that say about us? Is that we're no good, and people are going to know it, and people are going to see it, and they're going to say it, and they're going to gossip about. Did you hear about James' birthday party? Nobody came. Well, that's because that stupid hat that he always wears, or whatever it is. And so, but I think
At least it's not a dunce cap.
that's right. But I think, well, okay, talk about dunce cap. All right, let's say you're cognitively impaired
And you put on the dunce cap?
and you are struggling with your impairment because, you're losing it, you're getting dementia or Alzheimer's or something. So, and then somebody notices that you're making mistakes. Well, which is more painful to you? The fact that you are losing your marbles, or that people are noticing that you are losing your marbles?
Definitely that people are noticing.
Now, you do identify with that, don't you?
Just to some
Small.
small extent.
No, I mean, you identify with this fear of embarrassment.
Oh, yeah.
Or
of
you're
course.
going to go up there and you're going to play a musical instrument, and you've been practicing and all that. And
Are you
you say,
talking about me again?
anybody, right? Or something like that.
And you make
Or
a
you
mistake?
make a mistake, or you give a speech and you stumble over your words, or you're walking across the floor in those stupid high heel shoes, not that I'm ever going to mention high heel shoes again, and you trip, and people see you and they laugh and they ridicule you. So now let's take the not wanted part. Okay, so when I was a kid, they had dances, little proms and stuff like that. I never wanted to go. You know why? Because nobody ever asked me to dance. It was obvious that I was not wanted.
And you're a good dancer.
Well, I am now. Hi, Mary Chris. Good to see you. We're talking about why are we embarrassed when we're not wanted, and how does that fear impact us? And I've been talking about embarrassment, about how many of us are more afraid of embarrassment than we are of failure. As long as we can hide our failure, hey, it's not so terrible. So this thing about not being wanted, that is really painful because everybody is going to know. So you put something out on the internet, right? You make a post, and you don't get that many likes. And then you want to hide that, right? Because you don't want anybody to know that nobody wants you or nobody wants your business. I am going to be doing this fabulous retreat, and I'm going to be doing this fabulous intuition training. And hello, Kimberly. She said, hello, beautiful faces. That's both of us. She's not embarrassing us about how we look. So, and, it can even be as ridiculous as you're selling your house and nobody has put an offer on it yet, and it's been at least 48 hours. So now it's not only you that people don't want, it's even your house that you put up for sale. Or your children, they're not wanted.
Up for sale.
Up for
Nobody
sale,
wants them.
exactly. And nobody's bid on them yet. So, you think about that. So what does that mean? Nobody wants me, and everybody's going to know it. Right? It's embarrassing.
It would make you feel worthless.
Makes you feel worthless. And is that all because people are assholes and will ridicule you when they see your weaknesses? I think that is a lot of it right there, but I suspect there's more to it. So now let's go to the not being wanted and being embarrassed and how that fear impacts you. Well, supposing you don't want to go out and play that piano for anybody because you're afraid you'll make a mistake and you'll be embarrassed. Or supposing you don't even want to offer your intuition training to the world, and you certainly don't want to speak it up about it. It's like one thing to say, okay, I'm slipping it on Facebook, but nobody knows. But if you go out there and say, hey, I'm Beth Green, I'm doing this fantastic intuition training series, there is an event. I now realize it's on the events on our great Facebook page, Granny Rocks On. Fantastic. You have no idea how intuitive I am and how much I can help you, and blah, 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 blah. And then nobody comes. That's really way more embarrassing than just slipping it in there and, saying, well, because you haven't put yourself out there. It's not as embarrassing if you haven't tried. So why don't we just not try? Right? So do you see how serious this is? Because this gets in the way of our trying to do things. Like, oh, I am not going to invent a cure for chronic fatigue syndrome, because if I do the experiment and all that and it doesn't work, I'm going to be embarrassed in front of my friends, in front of my colleagues. I may even lose my position at the university or whatever it is, right? Okay, so we all know what it feels like to be not wanted. I want to say something to you about that. When we were conceived or somewhere along the line, there was some moment or other when our parents thought, oh, even if they were so happy, especially if it's a girl, oh, it's a girl, or if you want a boy, it's a boy. Well, supposing they wanted a girl and you turn out to be a boy, now they don't. You start to feel like, oh, they don't want me, right? Or vice versa. Or they really do want you, but all of a sudden the bills start coming in and they start getting nervous. I mean, if you open a business, your business will have the same feelings that we had as, it's like,
right.
You want to do this business, but you're investing all your money and it's like, oh my God, this is going to kill us. This is absolutely going to kill us. And so there is that negative thought. Have you never had a negative thought about something that you may even have wanted? How many things have you gone after that you had negative thoughts about? Isn't it kind of embarrassing, especially in front of our children? But no, I always wanted you. Then the child says to mommy and daddy, but you did want me, didn't I? Was planned. Oh no, God made you a gift as a gift to us. You weren't exactly planned, but you weren't exactly unplanned. And no, we always wanted you. Liars. You mean there was never a moment where your mother was having a cramp and she thought, ugh, why did I do it? Or your father or whatever it is. So we've all had the experience of not being wanted, and it is very threatening. It's like, whoa, if we're not wanted, maybe they're going to get rid of us. Okay, that is the infant in the womb kind of scenario, right? Or after you come out of the womb, it's like, hi, I'm here. Diaper me, feed me, cuddle me, warm me, change me, meh. And of course, never did your parent ever think, okay. So the fear of survival is connected to embarrassment. I've talked about this in a different way about the shame of existence, but I'm talking about embarrassment here. So there is something that links in to embarrassment. It's like, I want to die. Haven't you ever had that feeling? I'm so embarrassed.
I'm so mortified, so embarrassed.
That I just want to die. I went, well, you may have felt like you were going to die when you were embarrassed by the fact that you were existing and then you weren't wanted. So the fear of not being wanted is, and then it goes to also the fear of someone drawing the conclusion, especially if you do it publicly, that you have no value. Now, by the way, I'm not going to do a life force tonight. And you know why? Because I embarrassed myself by injuring a rib today. I was in a really good mood. And I went to open a door, and it was a door and it was hard to push. And I'm kind of fragile. And so I injured my rib, and now I can hardly move my arm. But that's not going to stop me from waving my hands because I'm Jewish. So anyway, let me just, I'm going to finishing this point. I was just making a point about embarrassment and not being wanted. Like, okay, so you have no value. Does anybody remember the point I was about to make? That you have no value. And
that's linked with your need for survival.
Yes, but there was something that was coming up right after that. See, now I could be very embarrassed. I could be very embarrassed right now because I can't remember my next point, which was brilliant. If I hadn't messed myself up talking about my rib, I wouldn't be embarrassing myself right here and now.
Well, you were talking about injuring your rib and it being known to me, so that there was this.
Yeah, but it was before that. Well, I have no idea what I was going to say. So let me see what else I might say other than what I was going to say, if I can remember at all. Anything that I might want to say on this topic of oh, yes. Thank you.
All right.
I saved myself. You know, sometimes they don't want you because it's not a good fit. You know, somebody comes to your house and says, "Oh, it's beautiful, but I don't want it." Well, they have 6 children and you have 1 bedroom. You know, could that be, you know what I mean? Or let's say you go into a kindergarten class where they're all dancing and they're all 5 years old and you sit there like a lump on the sidelines and nobody wants to dance with you. Well, because, you know, who the hell wants to dance with a big person when, you know, you want to jump up and down, you know, you don't want to be constricted by that. Well, I want to tell you that I spent my childhood feeling like that because my peers didn't like me and didn't want to have anything to do with me. And that was really painful to me at that point. But I didn't have the wisdom to understand that maybe it just wasn't a good fit. So the fear of being not wanted means there's something wrong with me versus maybe
and yet you
isn't.
related better with adults.
I definitely related better to adults. And as an adult, I've had friends, but that pain of not being wanted as a child, the pain of sitting at lunch with nobody to eat with will always be with me. And that is the same feeling that I have when I tell you we're going to start doing growth. I'll tell you all about it. We have this intuition training. Why don't you at least look at the events page and so on and so on and so on. Same kind of pain comes up for me. I'm sure it comes up for you as well. You know, the more different you are, the more difficult it may be for you to find peers. But don't let that make you feel like you aren't wanted. The universe wants you guys. The universe wants me. If there is one person on the planet who wants my counseling, who wants grow, who wants my intuition training, who wants anything that I do, then I have fulfilled some obligation to the universe to give what I have in a responsible way. So don't let the fear of embarrassment get in the way of you giving what you have. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Right.
At 6:30 Pacific Live.
Mm-hmm.
Love you and thank you so much for being with us.
Yep. See you then.
Saving us from the pain of being embarrassed by nobody wanting us.